ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਾਈਲ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਗੀ ਇਪ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪੈਟਰਨ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਫਾਊਂਡਿੰਗ ਚੇਅਰ ਨੇ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਦੇ। ਇਹ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਅੱਜ ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਦੇਣ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਫਰਦਰ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਗੀ ਇਪ ਦਾ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ।
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you here.
Great, yes.
Nehoma.
Goho. Sasrika.
Wow, that's great. When did you come to Canada?
1966.
Okay.
More than half a century ago.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So Maggie, time flies very fast. Take us back into 1966 when you came over here. What was the kind of environment you found over here, and what did you do when you landed here?
Well, actually, I came as a foreign student.
Okay.
I came for my master's degree study in Ottawa. So I traveled from Hong Kong to Vancouver first, because I stopped over in Vancouver to visit my aunt.
Okay.
So I stayed with her for a couple of weeks, enjoyed the scenery of Vancouver and the weather. The summertime in Vancouver was just beautiful.
Right.
And then I took the train from Vancouver to Ottawa.
Wow.
3 nights, 4 days, and that was probably the best time that for me to really get to know Canada.
Right.
And so I arrived in Ottawa and started my master's degree study.
Okay. What did you do your master's in?
In education.
Okay. Yeah. So how many years did you spend over there, and after that did you start teaching?
It took me 12 months to get my the degree.
Right.
And then after 12 months, and I started to work for the government, because I realized that I was not able to get the teacher's license in Ontario, because I didn't have the practicum. But anyway, at that time, we were very lucky. The jobs in Canada just wide open for university graduates.
Right. So you started working in the government.
Yes, I started working for the government, and I worked there for about 3 years.
Okay.
Until the time that my husband got a transfer from Ottawa to Vancouver.
Okay, and you moved over to Vancouver.
I moved to Vancouver with him and our baby.
Right.
That's
great.
the best time that we had.
When you landed in Vancouver, what was the kind of environment over here? Were there many people, Asian people over here, and did you find some issues because challenges when you landed over here, or was it a very smooth ride for you?
Well, I must say that I have been very lucky, because I got a job right away, right after my graduation.
Right.
And also that I got married and have a family. And then when we moved to Vancouver, that was in 1970, early 1970. Chinatown was booming.
Right.
Probably that we all know that in the late 60s and early 70s, there was a very large number of immigrants coming from Hong Kong.
Right.
And so Chinatown and also many of the other places in Greater Vancouver area also have received many Asian immigrants, including of course from Punjab and India as well.
Right.
It was a very exciting time, because the government at that time started the Multiculturalism Act.
Okay.
And so the government actually at that time welcomed different ethnic groups and also the multicultural groups and the multilingual groups, and to be land immigrant and also to become Canadian. It was a very welcoming and open time for immigrants at that time.
So that was a great period when you were here. So did you pursue a government job, or did you do something else at that
Well,
time?
I quit my government job because there was not a similar kind of job that I had in Vancouver. And I wanted to start, from Ottawa, yes. So I started a young family. I started a family. So I
Okay.
thought that, well, maybe I should just stay
Spend
home.
some time
spend
home
time
and
home with
look
them.
after the children.
Exactly.
And
yes,
let
yes.
Mr. Ip do the work.
Of course. Let the man to make the money.
Right.
Anyway, but I was not the type that just want to stay home all the time.
Right.
And I was lucky that I have my mother who lived with us.
Okay.
So she's able to help me for taking care of the babies and so on.
Wonderful.
And as I started to become volunteer.
Okay.
And I started to volunteer at the YWCA, some of the immigrant services organizations.
Right.
And then I started really get to know more of the new immigrants.
Okay.
Because I came as a student, so it was not really a similar kind of experience as new immigrants.
Right.
And I realized that not only because of the language barriers, and also very often is the cultural barriers as well.
Right.
At that time, in the early 70s, there wasn't any immigrant services
Right.
provided by the government or government fundings.
Right.
And so it was almost like the new immigrants arrived, and they're on their own. Either they might have some family
Family or
friends,
friends, right.
or friends, or some of the local ethnic organizations.
Right.
In Chinese, for example, many of the clans associations.
Right.
The same family name from
Yeah.
the same village. And those are the places they can only go for help.
Right. So this was the time which motivated you to think about starting an organization.
Exactly.
So which was that year when you thought of starting an organization, going around the bushes? You said no, let's now set up an organization which can help these people.
Around 1971, 72,
Okay.
as I started volunteering, and then especially in YWCA in Chinatown branch. And there was a time that there was a lot of Hong Kong immigrants.
Right.
And then I realized that I was very lucky that I came as a student. I had no problem with the language, and also I was able to adjust and fit into the mainstream society quite well.
Right.
But really many families, especially with young children or older parents and so on, when they arrived, and the family is almost like starting from brand new.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everything's new.
Right.
And so I just realized that, hey, maybe I, as a lucky person,
Right.
that can maybe do something to help them.
Right.
And but one person or a volunteer help is not really enough.
That's right.
And also, many of the problems require professionals such as family counseling and so on.
Right.
So I realized that, we really have to be very systematic and very well organized.
Right.
And at that time, I had a very strong feeling that immigrant services should be the government's responsibility.
Right.
Because the government has allowed or recruit
Right.
the new immigrants to come.
Absolutely. But Maggie, to bring this new thought into the mind of the government, what kind of challenges you went through, or again, was it an easy ride for you? And how did you think about having the name Success as the name of this organization? We'll learn from you after this short break.
Very good.
Thank you. So ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਗੀ ਇਪ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ 1966 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀ ਵਜੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜੌਬ ਕੀਤੀ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਸਬੰਦ ਦੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਗਏ। ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਘਰ ਹੀ ਸੰਭਾਲਿਆ, ਪਰ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟਸ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਹਾਂਗਕਾਂਗ ਤੋਂ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਤੋਂ। ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਮਦਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਕੋਈ ਐਸੀ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੋਲੰਟੀਅਰ ਵਰਕ ਜੋ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਾ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਦਬਾਅ ਪਾਇਆ ਜਾਏ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਐਸੀ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਕਾਇਮ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਏ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਮਦਦ ਦੇ ਸਕੇ, ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਿੰਗ ਹੋਏ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਿੰਗ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਦੇ ਸਕੇ। ਸੋ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਆਗਾਜ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਦਾ। ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਕੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਰੀਆਂ 에ਅਰਲਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਤੇ ਬਿਹਤਰੀਨ ਕਸਟਮਰ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਲਈ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੈ ਸਪ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਟਰੈਵਲਸ। ਇੰਡੀਆ, ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਪੈਕੇਜ ਟੂਰਸ, ਕਰੂਜ਼ਸ, ਗਰੁੱਪ ਟਰੈਵਲਸ, ਹਨੀਮੂਨ ਪੈਕੇਜਸ ਲਈ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਆਫਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਹੁਣ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਵੀ springtravels.ca ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਰੀ ਤੇ ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਫ਼ਤਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਅਜ਼ਮਾ ਕੇ ਵੇਖੋ। You will feel the difference. Surrey office 604-501-4040. Abbotsford office 604-556-4000. ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਾਈਲ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੈਗੀ ਇਪ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਫਾਊਂਡਿੰਗ ਪੈਟਰਨ ਨੇ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਦੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਕੰਮ ਹੈ, ਅੱਜ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਭਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਹੈ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਪਿਕਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ now was the time when you had in your mind that no, I should have the government on the side so that we can provide services. So tell us briefly as to how this developed. How did you reach the government and what was their response?
Well, first of all, I worked with the government before,
Right.
so I had some understanding.
Idea. Right.
So I looked for some grant because if we have to have professional workers,
Right.
and we need to have funding.
Right.
So, but there's no immigrant service funding at all at that time, and I found out that there was a opportunity to get a 3-year funding on a demonstration project.
Right.
What it means is to demonstrate a new method or new way of
Right.
helping social services and so on.
Right.
And that is through the Department of Health and Welfare, which accidentally my former department.
Right.
So I went over and talked to the staff there and get the application form, and I got a group of volunteers.
Right.
And most of us are also young professionals and had an idea that yes, that it's something that we can help, we can pay back.
Right.
So we started to write up a proposal.
Okay.
And you wouldn't believe it. We went through 19 drafts.
Okay.
Almost like a doctor,
Right, absolutely.
dissertation. But anyway, we presented to the government and said that the idea is if the immigrants who come in and need a little bit help in language and cultural services, and help them to really get into the mainstream society,
Right.
at the same time, the mainstream society or government service and so on must also understand the immigrants' needs.
Absolutely.
And their problems.
Right.
So that in both sides, we can maybe get together and help each other, and then this is really truly what multicultural
Is all about.
society is all
Absolutely,
about.
absolutely.
And that somehow convinced
So
the
that thing
department.
convinced the government. So how much time did it take, and how did you get the idea of keeping the name of the organization as Success?
Okay, now when we started to have the name, and then all right, now we write down the names that we think, the words that we need to have it in the name so that people understand what kind of organization you are.
Right.
So we have social services. Because it started with the Chinese,
Right.
and then because we also use the Chinese language to help, so we have to have Chinese in the community, the whole community. So when we have all these words put together, and I said, getting too long.
Right.
And then I said, well, okay, maybe we can use the acronym. So when we started looking at the acronym,
Okay.
that we have the Chinese community services, social services. Now, what is kind of social? Is enrichment. We like the word enrichment.
Right.
So that means making everybody, well-being and so on.
Okay.
So, and all of that, hey, we can come up with the acronym SUCCESS.
Right.
So we put a society at the beginning. So we have society, Society of United Chinese Community Enrichment Social Services.
Wonderful. And success means you are going to be successful
And
in
it's
that.
very good,
That's
yes.
wonderful. So gradually it started off, and now when we see success has reached the pinnacle of success, where
Thank you.
thousands of people have benefited from the work which you initiated at that time. What are you most proud of, Maggie, as a person? What do you feel which you are proud of that as a Canadian you have given back to the society?
The proudest moment, I think, really for the organization, we started as one ethnic, one language,
Right.
ethnic language, Chinese.
Yeah.
But we added the Vietnamese in the late 70s when the boat people came.
Okay.
Because we realized that with our experience, just the language, we can help the others.
Right.
And now we have 27 languages,
Wonderful.
including, of course, Punjabi and
Right.
the Hindi and so on.
Okay.
That really made me feel that this is truly what a multicultural society is all about.
Right.
And then we have little bit different languages, but once the language barrier is over,
Right.
and we are the same,
Right.
we all need to help each other,
Absolutely.
especially with the new immigrants
Great.
who have made such a sacrifice to come.
While that much contribution has been made, where thousands of people's lives have changed because of this organization, any regrets you have in life?
Wow. Not really much regrets, really. Of course, it took us 44 years to come to today.
Right.
But 44 years in a young country,
Right.
150,
Right.
is
It's
significant.
absolutely,
It's significant.
absolutely.
So I'm pretty proud,
Right.
and I hope that more that we can do, the
Right.
more all the ethnic groups and the multicultural groups, we should all really work together.
Absolutely. What would be your message to parents and children, how to carry on and continue with this tradition?
Many of the values and that we all believe in, actually, I think if you look at the broader sense, very similar.
Right.
Whether it is Punjabi
yes.
value or Chinese value, so on.
Right.
We all respect elderly.
Oh, yes.
We all wanted to have our family,
Right.
get together, and then have a good future. And all of these are same, but the way we make it or achieve it may be slightly different because of the different culture and the background as well.
Right.
So I would like to make sure that the young people also understand the very global values.
Right.
At the same time, understand their individual value from their family
Right.
or ethnic group and so on, to really learn more about it, to respect more about it. For example, now I have 4 grandchildren.
Right.
And I think, okay, they are 3rd generation now. So how can I help them to understand more about China
Right.
or Chinese
Right.
history or culture? And then I can show them books, I can show them movies, but what I decided that is every year I try to make a trip
Wonderful.
to China,
Take them there and show
take them there,
Right.
and then make it an enjoyable trip, not
Right.
just like a study trip.
Absolutely.
And then start hopefully that few more years of understanding, and they become the person who really want to know more about their own root, their own
Absolutely.
background.
Wonderful. It was a pleasure talking to you. We are proud that we have people like you in our communities who strive for the betterment of others. It's a pleasure having you here. Thank you and best wishes.
Thank you very much.
Shishi.